Welcome back to Whaler Talk with Peter Hindle from theexaminer.com and Mark Willand, Vice President of Business Operations with the Whalers Sports and Entertainment. We were just talking about how the Whalers affected the community, the economy, and all the hearts of the people in Hartford when they crushed the Quebec Nordiques in 3 games and then went on and pushed Montreal to 7. One of my fondest memories is with Kevin Dineen. I brought a friend of mine who had muscular dystrophy to the rink in West Hartford. I was working there as a young person. And we pushed him up to the glass, and he looked out on the glass, and they went by and they tapped their sticks on the glass. It was just a wonderful feeling that he was actually out there skating with them. So we watched the practice and their drills and everything. And after, I took Kevin, his name was Kevin, to the back where the locker rooms were, and the guys went by, gave him 5 and all this, and it was just a great experience. But Kevin Dineen will always be, for me, just a class gentleman, first-class human being. He came out and he sat with my friend Kevin for an hour and a half after practice and just talked about life. And to this day, you know, unfortunately, my friend Kevin passed away about 3 years after that. And when I told Kevin, when I saw him, you know, some years later, that he had passed away, he was legitimately moved by by what had happened. And you know, that's when you look at what the Whalers, the players, the staff at the Hartford Whalers, it was a family. It really was. And you know, I salute Kevin Dineen over and over, and I'm so happy that he's succeeding as a head coach these days, and he's taking that team to a new level. But that's what I get out of what left Hartford here. It was not just a hockey team, but the people that were in place. It was a great opportunity.
Me a Florida Panthers fan. I never thought I would be, but
I'm definitely just a great person.
Yeah, he is.
And takes the time. So you know, we go from the Whalers leaving and a business decision by Mr. Karmanos. And you know, what I think people have to realize, and they do, the fans know it was not their fault. We did everything we had to do. We supported our hockey club, and it was a business decision. Unfortunately, our hockey team's not here, but what do we have to do to get there? You know, Mark, when you look at the public relations back when the Whalers were here and where you are today with the Connecticut Whale, is it dramatically different? Do we have a different animal with the generations, you know, the hockey in general? You know, how do you approach that from a public relations standpoint, trying to rebuild our tradition of hockey in Hartford?
Yeah, I think that the biggest thing when we started here back, and really when our first event was at Coaches, the Whaler event that you guys have every year in April, and the first things you see coming back to this marketplace. Now, of course, being in the NHL, the hockey community was very united. There was the Hartford Whalers. Upon returning, you had segments of Hartford Whaler fans, you had Hartford Wolfpack fans. It just created people who liked the New York Rangers, people who disliked the New York Rangers. And so that's the biggest thing that we still battle with, not to the extent as it was last year. I mean, last year was significant. So this year, much less. But it was an easy rallying cry when the team was the Whalers. Here, it was very, very challenging, the fragmentation. And that's, to me, the biggest difference, the lack of unity among the hockey community. I think that's really, that's hurt. And a lot of reasons for that, as we discussed. You've got fans who supported the Hartford Whalers and didn't support the Wolfpack. And it's understandable why that would happen. And look, the Wolfpack, really a great AHL, model AHL franchise, championship team, winners every year. They did everything, and as the Whale continued to do everything right, produce a quality product every year. We've got 12 former Whale Wolfpack players now playing for the New York Rangers. So the quality of hockey they provided is great, but you know, there was just a psychological letdown from being in the National Hockey League to the AHL for a lot of people, myself included, to be honest about it. So, you know, those are the things that we're working with. It's gotten better. We have a lot of folks who have come out and supported the American Hockey League, who supported the Whalers, and see it's a great experience. It's a great family event. But there needs to be more. While attendance is increasing, we're third in the league in revenue growth this year, year to year.
Nice.
We've got 3 times the season ticket holders that we had the year before. It was still, we're in increments where we need to do a little bit better to get the attention of people around the hockey world. If the city of Hartford and the state of Connecticut have the desire to be back in the National Hockey League again, so you can't have. You talked about the 13,000 night, and I remember seeing a lot of old friends there. People were very emotional that night. And it was a great game. We ended up winning in the shootout, and but it didn't carry over as much as I would have liked to have had it. And so, a lot of it's we say every day we're in our offices. Basically, a lot of it's blocking and tackling, selling tickets. It's a different sell. It's a lot of groups. You may have. Let's say arbitrarily of 5,000 people in the arena one night. Well, maybe 2,000 of those are hardcore hockey fans who actually understand what's happening out there, the nuances. 3,000, maybe kids who are, dancing in their seats or whatever. But it's a different thing, and I think that's what I want to have happen the most. I would love to have that real good hockey fan be more prevalent in the arena. We need, and we're in a model that we are in the American Hockey League, you need your families, you need your groups, you need the Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts, whatever. But I would like to see more of that hardcore hockey fan. We had the really great night at Connecticut Hockey Hall of Fame night, but there were less than 7,000 people in that arena. Now I think that we didn't pad that crowd, or there were no Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, things like that. That was just a night that we marketed on its own merits, without groups and things like that, and that's what happened. We had about 6,600, not bad, but I think for the type of players that we had in and the type of event that we had, we should have done better. So there's still a lot of work to do, a lot of signs for encouragement, but a lot of work to do, and sooner the better.
Right, and I mean, and for the people that if you remember how the Whalers were, or if you're just into hockey in general, I mean, there are those lightning in a bottle moments. One for me was, and maybe for other people as well, but when the team got Dov Grovett-Morris last year, in the last 22 games, I think he had like a 2.12 goals against average, and he literally willed the Whale into the playoffs, and they had a good 6-game series against Portland. They ended up losing. It was Kevin Dineen, so that was okay that Kevin Dineen moved on. But I mean, it was it was nice having that hot goaltender going, and it was just kind of like it was when the Whalers used to get into the playoffs, and they got a shot, and so we're looking for that this year. Hopefully, the Connecticut Whales had a lot of call-ups, and there's been some injuries that you guys have been dealing with too. But this team looks like it's going to go into the playoffs, and that's coming up soon. So you never know. I mean, next thing, if this team's in the third round, we could see those 10, 12,000. I mean, when you get a winning team, it kind of catches on fire. Businesses catch it, and it starts to spread almost like a virus.
And it does. And I think we have a very select group of fans that are picky people. You see it with UConn. You see it with the basketball teams, the football team. All of a sudden, UConn's doing great in football. You have 40,000 people there. This year they didn't do as well. You're not looking at that 40,000 every game, and I blame it on the people for not supporting their club. Well, the Detroit Red Wings were not good. The Boston Bruins weren't good, but they filled their stadiums. The Boston Red Sox, good Lord, were really bad at sometimes, but they sell out their places. When you look at teams that are successful, they're successful because their fans are fans. And yes, we have the Connecticut Whale. I went to Wolfpack games when you had 10, 11,000 people for those playoff games with Terry Virtue, Kenny Jernander, Al Montoya in goal. These are the guys that are our hockey club. And we had the 10, 12,000 people for an AHL game. When Terry Virtue scored in overtime and the place went absolutely bananas. That was that Hartford hockey electricity again. And for those Wolfpack fans, that was their Kevin Dineen being Patrick Waugh. That was their thing. And there's no reason it shouldn't. Like Mark said, the tickets are very, very affordable. And now you have the $5 Friday night promotion that you do with the hot dog and the drink. It's a great deal.
There really should not be a situation where even during a midweek game that we should have less than 5,000 people in the building. For the product's a great product. We're proud of it. We touched on earlier, it's a real breeding ground for the National Hockey League and for the Rangers. Like I said, you get 12 guys up there right now, which is amazing for the team with the best record in the league. And it's great hockey. We have a lot of non-hockey fun in the building too. At the video board and things, the contests and things like that. So, it's a fun night out, relatively inexpensive. And like I said, we're building, but I'd be lying if I didn't say I thought it would happen a little faster. Right. The product on the ice has been strong. I think we've promoted it as well as we can. We've always wanted to do better, but we're looking next year. But I don't want to ever lose sight of the fact that the corporate community, Aetna, Cigna, Webster Bank, have stepped up in a big way, and they share the common desire that we have and our fans have of bringing Hartford back to the place of prominence, regardless of what league we are. But it should be a great hockey market once again. Our amateur hockey program we touched on earlier, but Hockey Night in Hartford used to start at 7 o'clock. It doesn't anymore. It starts 1 o'clock on a Saturday and 2 o'clock on a Wednesday, because we have groups playing before our games, which is underwritten by Aetna. Hockey in the streets. The mayors come out to our Hockey in the Streets program, where we're going out to the inner city and bringing this great sport to kids who wouldn't have the opportunity before. That's going way back to our roots that we did in Hartford, is getting out of the inner city and bringing the game out. They're getting the players out there and showing these kids how to play and how to compete and how to eat properly and things of that nature. So, and then on the television front, right now, between the replays and the live games, we probably have over 40 games on TV. Hasn't been any TV games the last 5 years.
Right.
On the radio, we're on WCCC, 50,000 watts. Whereas in the previous years, it's been on high definition radio and hard to get. So we're getting the word out there. We've got a lot of good things happening. We talked earlier when we got here today about community relations. We literally did over 600 appearances last year, 365 days, 600 appearances.
Amazing.
So we've been everywhere. Every school, hospital, fair, jamboree, event. So Pucky the Whale is there. And,
we did some shots on the street, and it was around lunchtime. You remember?
Right,
And we went out there with Kevin Massicott, who is illustrated. He put together Bleeding Green, the film about the Whalers Booster Club. And we went into the bars at lunchtime, and Pucky came in right behind us. And some people get a little camera shy, and they're like, "Oh, don't film me." And then other people wanted to talk to you, so it was great. We had some live shots on the street, and people were really passionate about, about the Whalers and how it really affected them. And it's part of their life. And when you get into people's lives and you can touch them in such a way, it sits there. And these people, there was one guy who really motivated me to continue to do whatever we can do, because he was like, it's a pipe dream, they're never coming back, Hartford's a losing. And I was like, this guy makes money here. He makes money, parks his car, works in a building downtown and doesn't support the city. I said, well, and I looked at my son and I said, Sean, that guy is making me do whatever I want to do to bring this hockey club back. I said, that man's motivating me. And he goes, yeah, me too. So that's good. You get more and more people bought into the program that we can do it. And we are the Green Bay. We're the Green Bay of the Hartford Whalers, or if you want to call it Hartford hockey, that we can do it. There's no reason why, if you're committed to this, you can't buy into it.
Right. And there's a lot of avenues for support. We talk about the building, and we had Howard Baldwin on the show, about a month ago or so, and we went over the building and his revitalization plan. And he had made references to comparing it to Fenway Park. And I have to admit, at first I was kind of like, well, not really sure. And then I happened to see a documentary on Fenway Park in about the 100 years. And about 40 years into Fenway Park, the city was like, we got to tear this down. It's worthless. It's no good. And then Yawkey came in and built the Green Monster. And then, it gave the cookie cutter, And then while in the 60s, when they were building all these grand stadiums that had no definition or recognition to them, Fenway Park became this special little place, and I'm like, oh, so that's what Howard's talking about. The Excel Center can be that for, it can be the Fenway Park of
It's the
nucleus.
It's the nucleus of Hartford.
Because it is in such a central location in the city. that, I mean, you can't miss it for one, and there's plenty of parking, and you know, maybe it just needs some revitalizations. But like you said, with the history, like and you mentioned the people that play on the ice. I was lucky enough to play on the Hartford ice for the first time this year. It was a dream as a kid of mine. And when you get down and you look up and you're like, you know, Wayne Gretzky's been here. But even just the guys that, you know, Adam Burtz that you loved, and you know, the Sean Burks and all the goal, you know.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
you know, there's just something about that, you know, that history that needs to be brought to the forefront, you know, more. I think.
Yeah, I think it's a building. I post up on Whaler Nation on Facebook. I'll go around the building sometimes, and you know, for example, the other night I was in the organ loft and I took a picture of the old organ. It was covered
That's been a big conversation.
Yeah, you did that, and everybody's been talking about that too. I wanted to tell you that, but anyway, go ahead.
Covered in dust up there.
Yeah.
The old press box and things of that nature. But you know, definitely as yeah, the getting a new arena. Obviously, there's a long road. I mean, you know, Quebec seems to be en route to getting that done. There's a long road, a lot of implications. You've been through it a million times, and you know. But the building we have right now is very good. It may not have all the amenities. Certainly, the concourse is you know, substandard when it comes to what you would normally expect as far as its width and its offerings. But it's a great place to watch hockey. I mean, the acoustics in there are tremendous. Boy, it seems like yesterday. I know I'm living in the past somewhat, but it seems like yesterday when there was a new building. You know what I mean? It wasn't. It's not like it's, you know, old and decrepit and falling down. It's a good, solid building. It just needs some help in its innards, so to speak. And you would have, you know, for a placeholder anyway, an NHL-ready facility.
Right.
There was this guy in the I would think it was the 80s, maybe 90s. Do you remember the trumpet guy?
Sure do. Claude Scott.
I loved it.
Yeah.
The guy would come out, dun, 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 and he'd play that music, and people would start clapping, and it was different. And you know, you got Damon Scott out there. You're doing, you know, the in between the face-offs or the TV timeouts or the radio timeouts, and it's great to get him out there. I think the nostalgic part, the organ, the trumpet player, I think that would bring back some of that flair. I don't know if it can be done. You know, like we said, the organ conversation, holy cow. It just went off. It was unbelievable. These people were like, bring it back, bring it back.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And
Everybody wanted to
it was
see it,
amazing because it's hockey.
Right.
You know, we're in a new age now. We have music, we have this, we have rock music, we have Metallica, you know, the Sandman, you know, Enter Sandman, you know. You have all that. You have Kiss, you know. I think it's great that, you know, play a lot of Kiss. But I think it's... But if you bring that tradition, hockey thing, we got to do it. And,
it does take you right back, and we actually pipe into organ music.
Yes.
Not enough, but my staff knows I'm going to ask for more organ music.
Yes.
Because it does take you back when you have those little breaks in the action, and you have those musical interludes of organ music.
Yep.
It does, you know, for hockey traditionalists, it's a nice break from the usual. Like
I watched YouTube the other night. The guy in Chicago. Holy cow.
Yeah.
What an organ. First of all, I don't know the guy's name, but I just want to go to a game. That's it. One time. Just spend an evening there and watch the Madhouse on Madison there. It's just amazing to watch. And his organ's, you know, huge. And it was great to listen to the organ music.
Yeah. So, I mean, we got about a little bit of time left, but I mean, you know, it's something we could, you know, hope that people would come out and, you know, watch the team this season, see how the playoffs go, you know, see where things go, get a feel for it. If you haven't seen hockey, come down and take a look.
And get a hold of us.
Yeah.
You know, we're on the concourse. We're right behind section 105. Come and see us. We have memorabilia available. We're on Twitter with Whalers Booster Club, at Whalers Booster Club. We're on Facebook. Join the Facebook page, like us, and YouTube, HWBC. We have our own page, Whaler Nation, Connecticut Whale. These are all resources. You can get a hold of the Whalers Booster Club at jewhaler13@gmail.com. We'll be more than happy to get back to you with any questions you might have. You can contact Mark and Whaler Sports and Entertainment.
There's only 2 home games left.
I know, and they're surging towards the playoffs. You know, is there anything else you want to finish with, Mark?
No, I just wanted to say that we appreciate all the work the Hartford Whalers Booster Club has done. Really got this thing kicked off, and it was like that enthusiasm and camaraderie that we felt when we first came back here 2.5 years ago, that really gave us a lot of motivation to continue. When we were here as the Hartford Whalers, the Booster Club was integral in what we did. I mean, I'm not even just saying that. It was Booster Club they would mail out playoff tickets and things of that nature. Right. Booster Club was closely in line with us, and so it's great to see all of them again. But also, you have to respect the fact that all the work that the club has done to keep this thing alive, and keep pushing. Hopefully, we'll get rewarded sometime soon.
I don't think you can kill it. I think it's going to live on,
no
matter what.
Here.
But yeah, we'll still carry the torch. So
we do appreciate too. I greatly appreciate the fact that the Booster Club in general, and you guys in particular, have really supported the Connecticut Whale. Great product we have there, and it's heartening to see crossing the psychological line to whale hockey, and I really appreciate that. I know Howard has too.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate all the help you guys have done, restoring the tradition, and with what Mr. Baldwin did back when he brought the hockey team to Hartford. Right. And we'll check you next time on Whaler Talk.